everyone, welcome to UGC NET Political Science classes by Drishti IAS. I am Dr. Ashwati. Students, very quick information. From 10th of July, we are starting with our new batch for UGC NET Paper 1 and Paper 2. Those students who are interested to take up the class and they want more information, they can check out the links given in the description box. So, now continues with our lecture. In this class, I'll be dealing with another very important political thinker from the 20th century, and that is John Rawls. John Rawls is known as a social contract thinker, egalitarian, and he actually, we can say that he is among the thinkers who revived the normativism after the, when behavioralism was there, you know that normativism received a very big shock. Then after 1960s, 70s onwards, normativism received a revival, and John Rawls, Nozick, all these figures are actually very important ones with the respect of the revival of normative ideas, or we can say that the areas where the values were given more significance in the political science. So let's understand about the life of John Rawls first. First, John Rawls, he was born in Baltimore, Maryland. He went to Princeton in 1939 after military service during the Second World War. It's very important, students. For why I have mentioned about his life here, it is because of the fact that to understand any political philosopher, we have to first understand their life. This applies to all political thinkers given in the Western or Eastern or whatsoever political thought. You have to first understand the context in which they were living, what sort of experiences they have gained from the political society, civil society, from the general society itself, that how their ideas got shaped in a kind of a changing circumstances. So John Rawls, he gave surveys during the Second World War. He was obviously a studious person. Then after coming back from the military service, he taught at Cornell University and Massachusetts Institute of Technology, very famous one, MIT. Later, he worked at Harvard as a professor of philosophy for almost 40 years. So, he remained with Harvard for a very long time. So, you can understand about John Rawls, about his ideas, that how his ideas were shaped at Harvard as well. And he always remember the fact that he is known as an egalitarian, and he received biggest criticism from libertarian thinkers of the time. Now, we will check out his major works. A Theory of Justice, very important one, published in 1971. Now, you can understand that this was also the period of revival of normativism in political science, in political theory specifically, where, as you know, that there was a new thrust that, okay, we are done with the behavioralism. Now, there is a importance to revive values as well as facts, to bring both together. It was felt necessary during that period, and John Rawls emerged as one of the most prominent thinker in the normative school of thought after the, or we can say that in the post-behavioral period, like John Rawls' work is very significant one. Justice as Fairness, published in 1985. Political Liberalism, published in 1993. The Law of Peoples, published in 1999. Then after, Lectures on the History of Moral Philosophy, 2000. Justice as Fairness, a Restatement, published in 2001. Please, students, it's just a kind of a advice to you people that I have repeated in many of my last classes, that you have to understand the names of these books in a chronological manner, along with the years of publication, as well as I'm just repeating it again. You can maintain a notebook where you can write down the names of the major writers, their books. It's very important, students. Okay. At least you will get to solve, you will get a chance to solve at least 5 to 6 questions in a UGC NET examination just by doing that activity. This is just like a funny way. It's just very fun. You can just go to, just maintain a small copy, write down the names of the major thinkers, devote 1 page for each thinker. major ideas, or you can write down that also, or the major phrases. There are so many things that you can add up there, and it actually helps you people to have a better understanding. So student, this is an advice, and this is a very key to success. It's a very important thing. And my mother, she always says that without writing, you cannot actually memorize things. Keep on writing, practicing is very necessary. Then only you realize then you get actually, it helps you in better memorization. Okay, so it's very important, students. Don't forget this information. Theory of Justice, very important publication, published in 1971. Then came Justice as Fairness, Political Liberalism, Law of the Peoples, The Law of Peoples, Lectures on the History of Moral Philosophy, Justice as Fairness, a restatement. Now, we will check out his ideas on justice. Justice is the first virtue of social institutions. According to him, here also we can find some ideas with reference to Plato also, like how justice was given a very significant position in the social formation, the social institutions. It is because of the fact that if there is no justice, then how can you realize the ideas of liberty, rights, equality, etc.? You need a sense of justice. It was the original position that he mentioned was actually influenced by the David Hume. Like, his idea of original position is something like this. How the society we, like, what we see in a society. Every day in our life, we see so many people, right? So many people we see in our life. Either they have, like, they belong to different religions, different linguistic identities, genders, and there are so many different things are there, right? So the original position is a place, like, what he has mentioned, he was highly influenced by David Hume. Individual is not having the knowledge of his place in the society, his class position or social status, his fortune in the distribution of natural assets and abilities, his intelligence, strength and plan, etc. Like, according to him, original position is like something where the person is like just a human, just an individual. We every time it is very common among us, like you cannot say that we don't stereotype anyone or we don't have prejudices in our mind. It is quite common that we all have that thing. We have this, pride is there, prejudice is there, and different types of identities also we form. Even without knowing the person or even without knowing their community or anything, we make certain images in our mind, and we often tell the same to our to our friends and many other things. It's quite common. So John Rawls' ideas is like, where you can understand that he's a social contract thinker. So he was creating an utopian world where the people are acting in a way where you don't know your position. Like whether you belong to this state, whether you prefer that food, or whether you speak some different language, you belong to this gender, where he is trying to create an egalitarian society where he has tried to minus our all other traits with that of the individual thing, that okay, we all are human beings and we have to act upon justice, as then only we can have harmony in the society. This was his basic idea. The wheel of ignorance, it was a device, and Rawls' inspiration in using the intellectual devices of the original position and the wheel of ignorance is a social contract tradition of the 17th and the 18th century. So he was highly influenced by the social contract thinkers of the time, like Hobbes, Locke, Rousseau, and many others were there, who actually created a kind of an utopian system. The society need to be like this, society need to be like that. Rawls' idea of the original position mirrors the idea of the state of nature, and his conception of wheel of ignorance ensures that when individuals choose the principles determining what a just democratic society looks like, they will make this choice impartially. Here you can see that there are so many, understanding, like, there are different things and we have stereotypes, many things are there. But when we, like, the wheel of ignorance is there, now behind it we are like a kind of a society. We are not just thinking about some of our cultural aspects or like our distinctive cultural moorings or distinctive linguistic moorings, etc., but rather we are just individuals. So when we all think like others, like, when we all think like in a very similar manner, then what will happen is that justice may prevail. So Rawls' idea of original position mirrors the idea of the state of nature, and his conception of the wheel of ignorance ensures that when individuals choose the principles determining what a just democratic society looks like, they will make this choice impartially. So again, egalitarian notions, we can get it here. Principles of justice, two major principles are there. Each person is to have an equal right to the most extensive liberty compatible with a similar liberty for others. To him, each and every person is entitled with the right to have equal liberty like others. Every other person living in the society, they all are entitled with the right to have equal liberty for each and every individual. Second one, this is a slight difference here that we see. Social and economic inequalities are to be arranged so that they are both to the greatest benefit of the least advantage, attached to positions and offices open to all under conditions of fair equality of opportunity. Fair equality of opportunity. Each and every person is entitled to offices or merits or whatsoever. There should be no discrimination. At the same time, he created a difference principle where greatest benefit of the least advantaged as well. So how do we understand about the least advantage? I can show you through a picture, like, how it can be the difference principle we can actually create here. Okay, let's say that there is one person, his height is 6.2 feet. There is another person, that person's height is 5.8 feet. Okay, so this is just for an illustration. This is a wall, and this wall's height is around 6 feet. Now a person with 6.2 height is able to watch the football match which is taking place here. So because of his height, he is able to watch this match, but the person with the 5.8, he won't be able to watch this match. So for that, under the difference principle, what we can do is, like, we can put a platform here. So this will actually help that person to watch the match just like this person. So this is like, you have to provide certain benefits for the least advantaged as well. But at the same time, he spoke about the idea that attach the positions and offices open to all under the conditions of fair equality of opportunity. It means that every other person is entitled to whatsoever merits and offices. This actually replicates to, or we can actually find some parallels to that of the idea of Aristotle as well. He had talked about, he also has spoken about the distributive justice just like John Rawls, but his distributive justice is very different. But to him also, he said that the merits, wealth and offices are to be distributed in accordance with the merit of the individual, merit of the citizens of that particular political community. But here, John Rawls, here he is saying that every other person to be given the fair equality of opportunity. Aristotle's time, citizenship was actually limited to a very few people in the political community, but here John Rawls is not creating any such compartmentalization, but rather it is open to everyone. So this is a very interesting question that often this is asked in various interviews as well as places, that what is the difference between the distributive justice of Aristotle and John Rawls. So be ready with the answer. Now we will take up question. John Rawls believed in A. Difference principle, entitlement principle, egalitarianism, libertarianism. Answer is A and C. He believed in difference principle, he is an egalitarian. Next question, the idea of justice as fairness in Rawlsian theory flows from what? Individual, society, state, nation. It is the individual. Because in every social contract like theories, you find individual is actually given the importance. Now it is called the possessive by C.B. Macpherson. Next, consider the following statements regarding John Rawls' theory of justice. Justice is the first virtue of social institutions. Yes, it's a correct statement. Justice is the first virtue of state institutions. This is a tricky one, but we have to understand that we cannot minus social from that of the state. Okay, here it is like the state is formed through the social institution. The social institutions also receive legitimacy, or let's say through these state institutions as well. In a just society, the rights secured by justice are not subject of political bargaining, obviously. In a just society, the rights secured by justice are not subject to social obligation. In this way, the four statements are actually correct. But the second statement, this is a very tricky one. So, justice is the first virtue of state institution. We obviously hear about justice is the first virtue of social institutions because it is given in his work. But at the same time, we cannot actually minus state from that of social institutions, and we cannot minus either ways. So, students, that's all in this class. And John Rawls is a very important political thinker from the perspective of the Unit 2, Unit 1 as well. You will find both the Rawlsian ideas here and there. So it's better to learn about him and learn more about his ideas, about his key books as well as his other works as well. So, and as well as about his critics. And just a repetition again, our next batch is starting from 10th of July. And those students who are interested to take up the course, they can actually find more information in the links given in the description box. So that's all, students. See you in another lecture. Bye.